What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. We're on Incursions today, playing on Sinai Redux. This is the first ranked game I had, so I'm still going through that placement process, but this was the first official ranked game as I'm pushing straight up towards A, using the AT Assault class. Probably, I think, my most favorite class, I think, overall right now in anything on Battlefield. Some of these classes on Incursions make me like really want them to go over to the base version of the game, as having the sweeper with the anti-tank weapons, it's a really nice balance in my opinion, and something I've always kind of wanted. Fortunately, a lot of the assault class, weapons aren't like that, and they're not like a rifle that I can carry, and none of the medic class rifles really can do any type of sufficient damage against tanks. So probably would have preferred having anti-tank mines, but the limpet charge is still not all too bad, as trying to hold off that tank from pushing up there from the very start. Gonna run back over here, get some ammo, and try to stay onto A and hold it down as much as we can. But yeah, some of these classes have just a nice balance between some of their gadgets and their weaponry, in my opinion at least. I like what they have at least going on here for the AT Assault, as trying to stop this guy from trying to push around. Gonna use a limpet charge right on top of him. Somehow gonna get away from not being killed there. A little bit surprised. It's happened actually quite a bit off of what's been happening on some of these games. Is I'm just getting away with a little bit too much in my opinion. I wonder if it's the ping of what's going on there. One thing I would like to see improved is having that practice mode, where you kind of just jump in and it's playing against other players, but it's kind of shortened and you can swap between classes after you die. I would like to see where you can have a choice of the servers you jump into. I've been having been put in servers where my ping is like 180 and the enemy player's ping is like a 20, and that's not going to work out too well. So I understand it's just a practice mode, but I'm not really sure of what might be going on here in some games on the ranked mode. So hopefully, understandably so, it is a beta, but it would be nice, hopefully, and I'm sure they will do it when it comes out to the retail version of the game, that we make sure we get on servers that have good ping. So I'm gonna try to watch out for that flank of that player on the side of me right there. Try to hold him off with the sweeper. Got another one onto my right side, and it's interesting playing on these smaller modes, because when you come from playing 32 versus 32 and then you're right on 5 versus 5, I can imagine that people who are playing team deathmatch and domination, I think they might fare better at this for a little bit, just because you kind of really have to change up so much how you play. I mean, for me, I'm the type of person who just puts my head down and runs through the game, tries to find that flanking position where I can get that 10 kill streak in a row. I think that's what makes Battlefield so epic. But you can't do that on this at all. You got to really take it really slow, in my opinion, and kind of really slow it down. At least from my viewpoint, I got to really take it really one step at a time, and every little step I take it's a big position change on the map, really. So it's something I got to kind of get used to, and that's what I've been kind of thinking about lately with Incursions, is like, when it comes out, like, I'm really gonna have to commit if I really want to play it, because I can't keep swapping back from playing 32 versus 32 and then playing 5 versus 5. It's just such a different mindset on playing it if I really want to like try to compete and do really well on it. So we'll see what happens coming up here. I kind of like it. I understand a lot of people in the Battlefield community have felt like Incursions came out too late. Battlefield 1's life has already been long gone. But in my opinion, I think, for me at least, I'm really actually happy that it actually has come out now after all the DLCs, and now I have a chance to really focus on Incursions. And I think what it hurts Battlefield 4 is more those new players and everything like that. So I think how it's been brought out, I don't think it's as appealing to maybe bringing out new players into the Battlefield. But for players who always are playing Battlefield, I'm pretty excited actually to have this out right now. So yeah, definitely we'll see what happens up here in the future as you get more acclimated to Incursions. There's so many kits to go through, really, and I really want to try them all out and really get really into them, as you kind of have to, because I've already had some games where people really move quickly in getting the AT Assault class, and there's nothing I can do after that, and if I don't get used to the other kits, you know, I'm not going to be really helpful for my teammates at all. So good learning time right now that will be happening here for next week or so, I guess, for me, where I kind of get into more of the kits, understand them more, and just yeah, see what I like. As of right now, I'm more used to the AT assault, as this is what I was trying out when I was on the PC closed alpha side. I was really kind of using this as I'm trying to take out this vehicle over here. They were doing a good job holding down us on the second sector, and yeah, I eventually wanted to come over and flank, but I had flanked too late, and by this time they had already basically won the round there. So still got to get used to the timing on the rounds, and you know, how much time we have, and all that type of stuff. Still a completely learning process for me. As much as I was still playing it on the alpha mode, I was only playing it for so much, and it was kind of hard to get into matches. It is nice now. I've been looking at the servers, and they seem pretty well filled, you know, and that is nice. It is big to know that anyone can jump onto this who has a base version of Battlefield, which I think was really big for DICE to do that. I think having the Rubioles, if you guys didn't check out my video yesterday where I talked about the updated kits that have been showing up since the beta launched and how they're different from what they were on the alpha phase, and now we have the Rubioles as one of the weapons for one of the kits. And originally they weren't going to have these DLC weapons on Incursions, but it seems like they're popping up now. So that is definitely some pretty interesting stuff too, what's going on in the likes of you know, having base players be able to play Battlefield and have access to DLC weapons. You know, what more could be happening from here? You know, they're going to keep doing these Redux versions of these base maps. This is not the only 3 maps they're going to have on it. So I'm expecting for the rest of spring and probably throughout summertime for them to start rolling out. I would expect all the maps really that they can do. We saw them having Giant Shadow on here, which is basically a completely different map, and I don't think it's not all too bad. Actually, I know a lot of people originally, when Giant Shadow was the first map being tried out on Incursions, people were really concerned because Giant Shadow obviously not the most popular map in the Battlefield community, but I don't think it's not all too bad. I like it on there. You know, to me, the more maps, the better. As long as there's not something crazy on there where it's, you know, doing something weird, you know, have it as an option in my opinion. But they're still working things out in their live stream. They even talked about maybe bringing in different game modes where you would only have 1 life. So kind of that Counter-Strike type of feel there. That would be kind of interesting. We'll see what happens in regards to that. But holding it down over here by C, we did a better job by C here. Just getting on the flag and pushing them back, as we still got like 1 guy over here. I think I'm about to run into him. Yeah, I'm gonna run into their whole squad right over there. I was like trying to figure out where they could be at, and these are the type of things that over time, you know, when you get more of that map sense, which I think is like probably the biggest thing in my opinion when it comes to playing like any game, when you understand that kind of map sense, the game sense, what people tend to gravitate towards too, it really helps you out a lot. It's not gonna help you out as much as like you would do on playing Battlefield, the regular like operations or conquest, just because I think when you get the competitive mode, it really begins to fizzle out and people begin to get smart, and I don't know, I think competitive mode just begins to attract those type of players, which is good. I think Battlefield needs this. How it will be its, you know, place in the Battlefield game, I don't really know, because, you know, we have a 32 versus 32. It's kind of the, at least for me, attracted me to Battlefield. So how they manage that will be interesting, because again, you don't want to keep your identity for having these massive multiplayer battles with the destructibility and the vehicle gameplay, and they have 2 of those right here. But you know, I don't think, you know, having a 32 versus 32 competitive mode, I don't know how well that would do for like esports and things of that nature. But for me, I think it complements Battlefield well. How they again balance it out will be interesting to see what they do out there in the future. So I'm definitely gonna be curious to see how they handle this, as throwing smoke everywhere. I forget what the kit's name is. Again, I have a lot to learn about all these kits and remembering their names. But that one kit where you can drop all that smoke down, I was showing in the video yesterday. Like, look at that. I don't even know if that was someone did that. I'm assuming that's what it had to have been, because yeah, I don't think someone had enough smoke to throw that down out of their smoke grenades. It just covers the whole battlefield, and yeah, I'm a big smoke proponent, so yeah, doing something like that, especially maybe around where there might be a tank, you get a good teammate who can drop that, definitely helpful. Now, one thing I have noticed is spawns are huge, and having your teammate who can definitely lay down those spawn beacons, I think is definitely a big thing on this game. Spawns are already big already in just the base version of Battlefield, but especially even more on Incursions, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely tempted to have like so many of these classes. I'm torn to what I'm going to want to do, so it'll be interesting to see. Again, there's still a lot to learn off this, and that's why I try to say earlier that, you know, you gotta, in my opinion, get really focused on just wanting to play Incursions, because once I get used to all of these classes and, you know, get, you know, acclimated to them, and then if I have to jump back on the regular Battlefield game, I don't know, it's a lot moving, you know, back and forth to me. That's why I only really like playing one game. I like really getting into one game and focusing on it. And Incursions is really pretty different from the base version of Battlefield, which I think is cool. I like it. That's why I said, for me at least, I'm not disappointed the timing it came out. It's like a new game to me right now, and it came out at a really nice time where, you know, we had just gotten a good playthrough of Apocalypse. Again, I don't know how well that works out for bringing in new players, but for, you know, their players that they already have, I'm not, you know, disappointed that this is not showing up. And it's just a beta. You know, we're not even experiencing the full thing of the game. So it's just good to know that it's back on, you know, for PS4 and for Xbox. As yeah, definitely didn't want to keep playing that on PC, because I'm definitely not a mouse and keyboard type of player right now. So yeah, these guys are gonna drop out right in front of me. I see my shots completely here, but to be able to finish these guys off, as another guy's gonna roll up here and not really know what's going on, as trying to get right up to them, right where their spawns are gonna be at, try to prevent them from making any sort of advancement here. Want to definitely keep C and give us this victory right here, which we do. So we're up at halftime, and we got a 2-1 lead onto them. Unfortunately, one of their players is going to quit out, so that's going to hurt them big time. But it is nice to know that they do have those penalties on there, so, you know, you just can know in the back of your mind that people can't keep that up as much as, you know, there might be situations where people have things going on in their life that, you know, will cause them to have to stop playing the game, or for whatever reason, which is, you know, would be unfortunate if there are reasonable things why someone would have to stop the game. Maybe they lose connection or something like that, and it causes them to, you know, not be able to, you know, play Incursions. But really, when it comes down to it, when it comes to these competitive modes, I really like the approach of really not having any, you know, type of mercy off of anything. It is straight up, this is how it is. You break the rules, you get penalized, and I like it when they can hold it, because I think it's very important to keep the integrity of the competitive mode like that. I understand that might not be popular for people who, for whatever reason, might, you know, not like what the rules are, and, you know, because, you know, they might have had to quit out for something that was a reasonable reason, and, you know, they had to do it 2 times, or maybe they quit out 1 time, they lagged out another time, or whatever. And I understand that does suck, but for the bigger picture, I think it's very important to have these type of penalties, and to know after that 3rd penalty that they're gonna have to be out for, you know, 24 hours. Even that 2nd penalty, out for an hour, is still, you know, a pretty long time. You know, if you're gonna jump on Battlefield, how long are you playing in a day's worth of time? You know, an hour is still a pretty substantial amount of time. So yeah, I think having that as the 2nd penalty as an hour's worth, and definitely that 3rd one there, you're done for the rest of the day, makes me feel better knowing that even on the enemy team, like, I don't even want to be playing a game right now where the enemy team has only, you know, 4 players. Like, that's not fun to me. If I'm playing competitive, I want to make sure I'm beating you when you have your full team. I don't want it at all to be like, oh, well, we were down 4 or 5, you know, and knowing that you beat them when they were, you know, not at what they could have been. Like, I'm going to do pretty well this game. I'm going to go like 20-something and 5. But, like, at the end of the game, I'm thinking, well, you know, did I really go 20-something 5? Can I even, you know, go put that on, you know, my title of my, you know, video that I did this well when they end up only having, you know, 1 less player? So, not really too cool to have something like that going on. So, again, I like what DICE is doing here with the penalties. Feel free to let me know your guys' thoughts down below about this. It's always a very kind of touchy subject, because there are people out there that do have reasonable reasons that they need to, you know, quit out. But at the exact same time, with it being the competitive side of it, it's kind of at least gets people to understand that, hey, if you're going to jump on Battlefield and you can play competitive, you know, at least realize that you need to designate some amount of time and make sure all your stuff is together and have a little bit of respect towards other players who really do want to get into it. So gonna try to hold them from pushing up any more towards A. Have that one player right there in front of me just kind of peeking himself out, and all I'm just trying to do is just hold it down, just make sure they can't flank from this side. Again, liking having the sweeper because I can at least put some shots on people from across the map. It's weird playing like this because I'm just not used to having me post up behind a rock, hold a position, and shoot people across the map. That's why I have to carry smoke around so much, because I have to give myself cover because I'm running around with these short range weapons, especially on maps like Sinai. I haven't played Sinai in ages, but when I did, you gotta grab smoke. It's a, you know, especially there's some of those areas over there that are just so open. You just can't do it. And looking back at it now, I haven't played Sinai in a while, but and when I did play it, it was just a base version of the game. Played a little bit of it since, you know, maybe on some like operations campaigns or some frontline or something like that, and maybe on some mixed servers once or twice. But I would have gotten more into driving around in the vehicles, like the armored cars, to get myself around point A and point B quicker. Because yeah, definitely running out there in the open with like shotgun is a little more surprising. I didn't get sniped as much as I should have, but yeah, gonna stop them from just trying to flank around. Again, gotta get used to these positioning. There's so many. This is when all those little angles and windows and everything's such a big deal, and then you gotta take in factor the destruction of the map, and yeah, all these little things here and there that's when it really begins to separate these players. So like now is a good time. Like I have a little bit of a head start from people because I got a chance to play it on the alpha, so I have a little bit of understanding, at least on yeah, about all the maps. I think a little less on the Sinai Redux right here. I still only played it like I think a couple times. And then of course you have Imyums, which even though they kind of I guess gave a Redux to that, it's not really much change to that map. But then you have Giant Shadow, which is basically a different map altogether. So you might have a little bit of advantage on like how the map looks and the layout on maybe that map, and then some of the understanding of some of the kits, but not all too much. So I'm sure by the end of the week, a good chunk of people will be caught up, which is all good. So gonna hold up in this little building right here. Just try to. I think there's like a player. There's been like one or two players that kept trying to push around that side, but yeah, again, just trying to hold them off from making the push up here, and just try to prevent them from just really moving any inch up, you know, up the battlefield at all. As the player's gonna finish off that guy just making a push. Again, really like having the sweeper. Can't get enough of it, just because it just allows me to shoot players across the map further than I'm normally used to. And I think that's where this guy's right at. Yeah, just getting so used to these little areas on the map where people are going to be at. But yeah, I've noticed lately people have been laying down right there on that little walkway. But we were able to hold them back, keep them from moving up at all. And unfortunately, again, they had that one player that did quit out. But like I had made mention, it is nice to know that we got some of these penalties. So hopefully that will discourage players from doing this. But that's basically my first you know, ranked game on the Xbox. Want to share that with you guys today. Again, I appreciate you guys being here. I am Living, and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.